So hi everyone, my name is Zoe and I'm the Grants Project Manager in Gloucester's Community Development Department. I'll be running us through our slideshow today. Just to go over the format, I'll be going through what is community development block grant funding, what do we use it for, and what are the limitations. If there are any major questions about the slides in the meantime, please feel free to ask. CDBG is a federal program for housing and community development efforts and has been running continuously since the 70s. It serves a huge broad base of cities, states, and urban counties. The city of Gloucester is considered a formula community, which means the amount of funding we receive each year is based on the extent of poverty, population, and situation of housing. This is based on the most current census data. So what is the annual action plan? The annual action plan is basically a progress report which we do every year. It's a federal requirement that Gloucester must meet to receive the block grant and other formula block grants. It is basically a snapshot of social, demographic, economic, and market conditions in Gloucester and how we plan on addressing these conditions. The important part of the annual action plan is the outreach component to get feedback from the community on what you all see as our needs, strengths, and opportunities. The draft has been posted last month, and we are currently taking public comments on it. So again, the annual action plan really sets the stage. It gives us performance goals such as direct spending, funding energy, and efforts. This is the time where we access everything for the year and how we plan to address them. So the current timeline from December through March, we will begin gathering information and asking people for feedback and input. In April, we posted our draft action plan, which is advertised and open for a comment period. It is a federal requirement that we have a comment period for at least 15 days long. We had a public hearing in February and now a community meeting in May. Our annual action plan has to be submitted to HUD May 15th, but we like to get it in a little earlier, so we are accepting comments until May 14th. So what are some things CDBG can pay for? There are four broad categories that we stick to: housing, public services, economic development, and public facilities. While addressing those four categories, we also have to keep in mind our key requirements. At least 70% of all funds we spend must benefit low to moderate income households, and every activity must meet a national objective that is benefiting low to moderate income people, aid in the prevention and elimination of slums or blight, and or meet an urgent need. An urgent need example would be a national disaster. Traditional government services and expenses are not eligible. So what is considered low income? Low income is based on limits that are set by HUD each year. Gloucester is located in the area that is Boston, Quincy, Cambridge. For us, low income is anything that is at or below 80% of the area median income. How does Gloucester spend CDBG? So we really push all of our funding to tie back into low and moderate income. So under economic development, we have done small business grants and loans, micro enterprise grants, and job training programs. Under housing, we do the first time home buyer and down payment assistance and housing rehab. And public services, year after year, we support public services that address the needs that we outlined in our 5-year con plan. For the most part, these are local nonprofits. And this is one of the categories that is capped by HUD at 15% of our annual allocation and 15% of our program income. This slide highlights some of the organizations who have benefited from CDBG. So for example, we granted CDBG funds to support the Open Door Food Pantry for those community members suffering from food insecurity. As you can see, CDBG funding has gone towards Wellspring House and Healing Abuse Working for Change, among many others. Here's a snapshot of CDBG investments. The top row is this year through January 25th. As you can see, we have spent a little under $400,000 in housing rehab and over $70,000 for first-time homebuyer. We have spent around $16,000 towards public services and have committed around $137,000. As you can see, in 2020, we dedicated a lot of funding towards economic development, which helped small businesses stay afloat during COVID. So back to why we are meeting and why we have invited you all to participate. It is really important to our program to know what the needs are in the community and what your input is. So thank you for being here and joining us. So our annual action plan survey showed 96 responses, with 46% reporting affordable housing should be top priority. And out of the 19 written comments, 10 mention affordable housing. And public service and affordable housing received the greatest number of votes for high priority. At our public hearing in February, our housing prompting questions were, what do you all see as the most common housing problems in Gloucester? Or what changes have you seen in the housing situation in Gloucester over the past 5 years? And the most common answers were limited housing stock, rental and owner, aging housing stock that needs repair, aging homeowners who need improvements to stay in their home. How will CDBG funds be used to help? In our annual action plan, we have 645,600 funds committed to housing rehab and 126,400 committed to first-time home buyer down payment assistance. So at our public hearing in February, our economic development prompting questions were, what are the most common economic challenges you see in Gloucester today? What industries or economic sectors are growing and what sectors are shrinking? So the common answers were less people in trades, social work, education, service industries, need for workforce training, and small businesses still struggling post-COVID-19. How will CDBG funds be used to help? In our plan, we have $114,000 funds committed to assistance to local businesses. So technical assistance for small businesses, job creation, low interest loans for businesses looking to create new or retain existing local jobs. Our social service prompting questions were, what are the most common social service issues or needs in Gloucester today? And how are Gloucester seniors doing? How about its youth? What groups seem to need the most help? The common answers were support for families, including affordable childcare, food security and access to fresh, healthy foods, and support for vulnerable populations. So how will CDBG funds be used to help? In our plan, we have $140,000 of funds committed to public services for the organizations and programs listed here. So for our public facilities prompting questions, they were, what do you see as the most common types of public works needed in Gloucester today, such as road repair, sidewalks, water, sewer improvements, and where in Gloucester do you particularly see obvious needs? The common answers were sidewalk improvements to make Gloucester more walkable and climate efforts to protect natural assets. So how will the funds be used to help? We have committed $300,000 to public facility improvements in lieu of the potential Section 108 loan. So the Section 108 loan guarantee programs provide community development block grant recipients with the ability to leverage their annual grant allocation to access low-cost, flexible financing for economic development, housing, public facilities, and infrastructure projects. Okay, everyone, this is our last slide. Thank you for coming. If you want to leave comments on the draft, feel free to, either through here or you can do email or call us. Thank you.